We have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Carolina. This is your Week 15, 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start with the home team, the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers suffered yet another heartbreaking loss last week to the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost that game 22-16. And Xavier Legette dropped the possible game-winning pass by Bryce Young. But on the day, Bryce Young did play very well. 19-34, 191 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown to 1 interception, and he only got sacked once. What has been so interesting to see is since Bryce Young has returned to the starting lineup, since Andy Dalton got in a car accident and he hurt his thumb, we've seen Bryce Young go out there and throw for 7 passing touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. And one of the interceptions were not on Bryce Young. You had Xavier Legette, who let the cornerback come out of nowhere and take the ball out of his hand. But when you look at this situation right now with the Carolina Panthers, they're heading into the right direction. The last couple of games have been dictated by just one score. And to be exact here, the Carolina Panthers' last 5 games have been dictated by one score, and they've lost their last 3 games by one score. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime, and we've also saw them lose to the Philadelphia Eagles last week by 6 points, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs by 3 points. In this matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, you have to run the football and put an emphasis on guarding Micah Parsons. Make other defenders around him step up. This is a Carolina Panthers team that has done a phenomenal job of taking care of the quarterback, whether it's been Andy Dalton or Bryce Young. From tackle to tackle, this offensive line has been one of the better units in the NFL. And it starts up front at the tackle position with Taylor Moton and Ickey at the left tackle position. You brought in Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt at the guard position, and that's where you're going to run the football in this matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys over the last 4 to 5 years struggle to stop the run, but it's not the outside runs. This is a Cowboys team that's built off of speed and finesse on the defensive side. Even though they brought in a brand new defensive coordinator in Mike Zimmer, you still have some of the old ways with Dan Quinn. They love to play with speed. They love to play with finesse. The way that you slow those teams down is by getting aggressive up front. And Chuba Hubbard has been one of the better running backs in the NFL this year. Last week, he did struggle. He only had 3.5 yards a carry, 92 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Even though he had a rough game, Dave Canales, he stuck with him. He gave him 26 carries. And that's going to be the recipe for success in this matchup, is run the damn football with Chuba Hubbard and let Bryce Young also go out there and use his legs. Unfortunately, for the Carolina Panthers, if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, Jonathan Brooks will be out for this game. He's out for the rest of the season. He tore his ACL yet again. He tore his ACL in college. This is the second time they tore it. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward, and my prayers are with him. No Miles Sanders in this matchup either. Miles Sanders is dealing with an injury. He's on IR. You do have Raheem Blackshear, but expect for Chuba Hubbard to go out there and at least get 26 carries on the day against the Dallas Cowboys defense that has still struggled to stop the run over the last few games. Now, when they went against the New York Giants, they had a very good day. Against the Washington Commanders, the defense stepped up in that matchup, and last week against the Bengals. But this is a bit different because this offensive line is better than all the offensive lines that I just listed. In the last 3 games for the Dallas Cowboys, you run the football up the middle of the field. Don't get cute. And that's the one thing with Dave Canales. He loves running the football up the middle of the field with Chuba Hubbard. You'll get some zone plays here and there and some stretch plays, which are fine. But I would go out there and double team Micah Parsons and make other defenders around him try to come after and get Bryce Young. In order for the Carolina Panthers to win this game, they have to execute better. Xavier Legette has had some major drops this season. He has to work on that. He has to catch the football in crucial situations in this matchup. He had a huge drop against the New York Giants, a major drop against the Kansas City Chiefs, and a drop last week that would have potentially won them the game. And I'm not going to come on here and hate on Xavier Legette too much because Xavier Legette did have 2 catches for 39 receiving yards last week. Adam Thielen had 9 catches, 102 receiving yards. Even though you should feed him and Jalen Coker, and Jalen Coker is on pace to play in this matchup, be on the lookout for Adam Thielen. I can see Adam Thielen and CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys having a huge day. Adam Thielen has been Mr. Consistent since he has returned from that hamstring injury that he suffered against the Las Vegas Raiders. But feed Adam Thielen and try to work on Xavier Legette catching the football in open field. Because if he can go out there and he can work on that catching, this could be a very good win for the Carolina Panthers. But they have to execute on second and third down, run this offense through Chuba Hubbard, and continue to keep Bryce Young upright. And I would not do too many misdirection plays. We've seen the Carolina Panthers go out there and run a lot of misdirection against the Philadelphia Eagles and also against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a very fast-paced defense of the Dallas Cowboys that has Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, and Micah Parsons. Say what you want to say about the Dallas Cowboys defense. They're fast, and they can get after the quarterback with Micah Parsons. You run too many misdirection plays, you're playing it to their hand with Mike Zimmer. When I look at the defense for the Carolina Panthers, keep Cooper Rush off schedule. They have to find a way to stop the run in this matchup. The Carolina Panthers have the worst rushing defense in the NFL, and they try to go out there and stack the box. You can't do that in this matchup. You have to find a way to control the line of scrimmage. And it really starts with the players. Coach EJ, the last few weeks, has been a better coach. He's been giving quarterbacks different looks because DJ Wonnum is now fully healthy, and the same with Jadeveon Clowney. I expect for both of those edge rushers to go out there and have a huge impact on this game. Jadeveon Clowney is an average pass rusher in my opinion, but he's a very good run stopper. He has to go out there and seal the edge and continue to stop the run. Rico, over the last 3 games, is starting to gain some momentum on the ground. The Dallas Cowboys have struggled to run the football for majority of this season, but as soon as Dak Prescott went down, Mike McCarthy made it an emphasis. Go out there and let's give our running backs the football. And that's the biggest weakness with the Carolina Panthers right now. They cannot stop the run. If they can't find a way to go out there and stop the run in this matchup, it's going to be a tough day for the Carolina Panthers. But it starts up front. Be on lookout for Trayvon Wallace and Josie Jewell at the linebacker position and for DJ Wonnum. When I look at the secondary with the Carolina Panthers, their secondary hasn't been that terrible over the last 4 weeks. The secondary, they've been above average. When I look at J.C. Horn, one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL to have, it's going to be very interesting to see what Coach EJ is going to do with him and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb can play all over the field, but he's more so of a slot wide receiver. J.C. Horn is not a slot cornerback. J.C. Horn is an outside guy. And that bothers me in this matchup because if you're not going to take away CeeDee Lamb and you can say they can put roll coverage on him inside the slot and you can have J.C. Horn and Brandon Cooks, you have to watch out for Kevontae Turpin and for Jake Ferguson. More so Jake Ferguson than CeeDee Lamb. The Dallas Cowboys have struggled to find other guys outside of CeeDee Lamb in the receiving room to step up. But we saw Brandon Cooks. When he's fully healthy, he's still a solid wide receiver. He had a receiving touchdown last week. Touchdowns are way more than yards because they're actually putting points up on the board. Find a way to slow down CeeDee Lamb and force Brandon Cooks and the other weapons that the Dallas Cowboys have to beat you in one-on-one situations. But I do believe this. Whenever CeeDee Lamb's on the outside, expect for J.C. Horn to travel around with him. And I know defensive coordinators hate to do that because it tips off the offense. Hey, they're in man coverage. So what? You put your best player on their best player. That's why J.C. Horn is getting paid. Go out there and put him on CeeDee Lamb on outside situations. And you cannot just put an outside cornerback inside the slot. It's a different part of the field, and you really can't press up on a wide receiver inside the slot. You can put roll coverage there. So expect for them to try to get CeeDee Lamb the football early and often, but try to take that away, especially going deep down the field and in red zone situations. In red zone situations, you can definitely put J.C. Horn on CeeDee Lamb. And the one thing with Coach EJ, we saw this season. He did not have J.C. Horn travel around with DJ Moore. He had Michael Jackson on him, and he would have a safety over top. If CeeDee Lamb's on the outside and you don't want to put J.C. Horn on him, that's fine. Have Xavier Woods looking out over top and you just play cushion with a guy like Michael Jackson. And you just hope for the best in that situation. But if it's me, if he's on the outside, I'm calling in J.C. Horn to take on that assignment because J.C. Horn can handle his own. Michael Jackson has to step up. When I look at Xavier Woods, he's been a solid safety all season long. Now let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Not only did the Carolina Panthers suffer a heartbreaking loss last week, even if you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan, it was a tough week for the Dallas Cowboys. That was a heartbreaking loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost this game 27-20. They did everything right. They ran the football. They fed CeeDee Lamb early in the game. They had a block punt, but Owarye went out there. He tried to catch the football. It was a muff punt. And I didn't get to talk about this after the game. The special teams unit won them the game against the Washington Commanders. But they also did something stupid in that matchup. It was an offside kick. It was an onside kick. They went out there. They ran the ball back. And Coach McCarthy was saying, hey, lay down. Don't run it back. They ran it back anyway. You have to listen to your freaking coach. If Coach McCarthy is saying, hey, you get a block punt, You get those yardage, you walk away. The fact that I'm harping in on Warrior, he cost them the game because when he touched the football and he was able to recover it, and the Bengals did, it put him in the scoring range. They got a touchdown off of it. And this matchup, special teams play is going to be important. Cavante Turpin is a very good football player, and he's very explosive. Find a way to get him the football, not just on special teams because he had the kick return against the Washington Commanders. Get this man the football as a wide receiver and on crossing routes. CeeDee Lamb last week was the only guy that showed up on a consistent basis. 6 catches, 93 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Jake Ferguson, who I really like a lot, only had 6 catches for 32 receiving yards. No one else really stepped up besides CeeDee Lamb. And yes, Brandon Cooks had the 1 receiving touchdown. He only had 3 receiving yards on the day. Coach McCarthy has opened his playbook up. Get Cavante Turpin the football. Get Jake Ferguson the football. And obviously feed CeeDee Lamb. Feed your best players and feed your playmakers. You can give Cavante Turpin the football in the screen game. If you don't want to do the crossing routes, you can have him going deep down the field. The problem is this: Cooper Rush accuracy going deep down the field is not the best. That's part of the reason why he's a backup in the NFL. Run this offense through CeeDee Lamb and Rico. Rico, over the last 3 games, has played way better because they're making an effort to get him the football. Rico, last week, was able to go out there and post up very good numbers. The man averaged 7 yards a carry for 131 rushing yards, 18 carries on the day. Feed him the football. Also in the screen game. What is going to be hard for the Dallas Cowboys is the fact that Zach Martin is out for the rest of the year. Last week, they definitely missed him in the passing game. Rushing game, not so much. And you look at this Carolina Panthers defense. They have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. Feed Rico and work off a play action with Cooper Rush. If you don't want to take the deep shots down the field to Cavante Turpin and CeeDee Lamb, I understand it. Work in the intermediate routes. 5 to 10 yards. Work underneath. And then you can crush the Carolina Panthers, force them to play up. But Jake Ferguson has to continue to step up in this game, and the same with Cavante Turpin. Just give him more opportunities. Jonathan Mingo did get traded from the Carolina Panthers to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't expect for him to have a revenge game. He hasn't done much in the NFL. He didn't do much with the Carolina Panthers. He's not doing much with the Dallas Cowboys. Last week, 1 target, 0 catches, 0 receiving yards. So if you're a Jonathan Mingo fan, you expect for him to go out there and have a great day like how Jerry Jeudy had against the Denver Broncos on Monday night. It's not going to happen because they have other guys in front of him. Expect for Jonathan Mingo to possibly get 1 or 2 catches. That's it. They're going to feed CeeDee Lamb. And I expect for CeeDee Lamb to go over in yards in this matchup. But when I look at the defense for the Dallas Cowboys, they did everything good last week. But that was with DeMarvion Overshown, who has been one of the best linebackers with the Dallas Cowboys this year. The man had a great game against the Washington Commanders. He was flying all over the field against the New York Giants. He had a pick 6. He was sniffing out the screen plays. And even up to the point where he got injured, he was playing very good against the Cincinnati Bengals. But he tore every ligament in his knee. MCL, PCL, ACL, and I wish him nothing but the best moving forward, and my prayers are with him and his family. Their linebackers are hurting right now because he was their best run-stopping linebacker, him and Eric Kendricks. You have to find a way to go out there and put pressure on Bryce Young and to stop the run game. You have Micah Parsons, one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL. I can't say enough good things about Micah Parsons. But besides him, who else is going to step up? DeMarcus Lawrence is still in IR. He's still dealing with injury. Marshawn Nealon was looking very good before he suffered that injury against the Steelers. My biggest question with the Cowboys in this matchup, who's going to go back there and put pressure on Bryce Young besides Micah Parsons? And if Micah Parsons is going to be that guy, I will move him around the line of scrimmage. Because like I mentioned before, this is a very good offensive line with the Carolina Panthers. If you can't put pressure on Bryce Young, you're going to be in a tough situation. The weakest link right now with the Carolina Panthers is not Bryce Young, their offense. It's their defense. You have to find a way to slow this kid down and to stop the run game. And the Dallas Cowboys have struggled against running backs like Chuba Hubbard. And if you don't know who Chuba Hubbard is, he's been one of the better running backs in the NFL this season. Some will even say one of the best running backs in the NFL this season. For the majority of this season, this man averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Right now, he's averaging 4.7 yards a carry. He has 1,011 rushing yards on the season. That's the 6th most in the NFL. He has 8 rushing touchdowns. Go out there and stop the run. Now, I'm not saying go out there and stack the box and just put a lot of blitzes on Bryce Young. Bryce Young, even against pressure this year, especially coming off the edge, he will step up inside the pocket and he'll deliver the football to Xavier Legette or to Adam Thielen. But you have to put pressure on this kid and knock him off schedule. because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. When I look at the secondary with the Dallas Cowboys, I think you're good there. You have DaRon Bland, you have Trayvon Diggs. You may even want to play press man coverage here and there. I would be on lookout for Adam Thielen. A guy like Xavier Legette wouldn't bother me as much, and the same with Jalen Coker. Very good players, but Adam Thielen is so sneaky. This is a man that still has it. He was giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hell. We saw this last week against the Philadelphia Eagles and against the Kansas City Chiefs. He is an older player, but don't sleep on him. Mike Zimmer has to find a way to slow him and Chuba Hubbard down. But do be careful in this situation, because Xavier Legette can beat you deep with the speed that he has. He just has to catch the football. That's it. But when I look at the Dallas Cowboys secondary, you have one of the best secondary coaches in the NFL. You have Trayvon Diggs, you have DaRon Bland. DaRon Bland has missed majority of the season dealing with a foot injury, but he's still a very good cornerback to have. Trayvon Diggs is still dealing with a tear in his calf, but he's been soldiering on, playing through it. It's going to be very interesting to see how the secondary is going to play against the Carolina Panthers. But I like what the Dallas Cowboys have on the defensive end with Micah Parsons and crew. I just wonder who's going to step up besides Micah Parsons to put pressure on Bryce Young. With all of that being said, the Dallas Cowboys went out there last year and they defeated the Carolina Panthers in embarrassing fashion. They blew the Carolina Panthers out, especially in the second half. The first half, it was a close game. Second half, not so much. I believe the Carolina Panthers will get sweet revenge in this matchup. It's going to be a close game because for whatever reason, the Carolina Panthers just love to be in close games. I have the Carolina Panthers winning this matchup 23-20. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game, the Carolina Panthers or the Dallas Cowboys? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.